Round here, them guns get the last word.
We are in the tag fighter era. How excited are you guys for these games here? Marvel Token Fighting Souls. Me personally, I am really excited. I play a lot of Marvel Rivals. I'm a big fan of Marvel. I did not play Marvel versus Capcom, but I guess I just was never aware of it. But I am very interested in this. What I will say about this one is that it does look very Dragon Ball Fighters-esque, and I personally didn't like that game that much. So I'm hoping that this game is not too much like that and it's more of its own thing. I mean, yeah, like I want it to be its own thing. I don't want this to be like a Fighters 2 with a Marvel paint. I don't know if that's how if the FGC feels that way though. If that was what this game was, would the FGC be happy or disappointed? I don't know. My opinions usually clash with the FGC. Where the FGC thinks games like Marvel vs. DC is trash and like 3D Mortal Kombat is trash, I kind of like it. But yeah, this game I'm really interested. I think they have a lot of good characters to work with. Doom, Ghost Rider. I think that would be awesome. And then the next one that we have here is 2XKO. I'm interested for this one for a different reason. I never played League of Legends. I did play other, what's it called, MOBAs. I did play other like games like League of Legends before, and I had a lot of fun there. And I also know the audience is like massive. That's the real reason why I'm interested in this game, is because this game has the potential to bring in a crazy audience to the FGC, as well as the Marvel game, right? We didn't talk about that, but Marvel as well, right? But this game is also free to play, which I love, and I will definitely try all the characters and I will, give it a shot. But I do want this game to succeed because it has the potential to bring in a lot of characters. I think Arcane was a good show. Season 2, not so much. Yeah, I mean, there's not really much I can say about this. It does do the whole simple controls and whatnot, but we're not viewing it in the lens of like Tekken being simplified. So, it's a totally new game being built from the ground up with these tools in mind, so it should turn out very differently. What you do have to say about this game is that this game, with it being at one point in time the only tag game, it now is no longer the case. Like the people who were looking at this like, oh, a tag fighter. Now you have multiple tag fighters, and this one isn't so special anymore. So it does have the ability to be overshadowed in that sense, and it will be tested truly. Marvel is going to test this. And, the next game we're going to talk about, well, the next game we're going to talk about. So Hunter x Hunter, this game is all right, but I'm not too interested. I don't think I ever watched Hunter x Hunter, so I don't know the plot. I'm somewhat familiar with the characters, but I can't say that like I'm, a huge supporter in this. I think that these anime games have a very, very short lifespan. It doesn't seem like they're trying to really stay. It just seems like they're trying to, be like a temporary type of fun, which is cool, which is great. But then it just moves on and then another one comes out. But then this one, Invincible versus. Is that the real name? The concept of this one is so fantastic. A invincible fighting game. I love the concept of this, and I think they have so many unique characters to fill in a roster. They could definitely satisfy the players in terms of like unique characters. Like imagine if you had the Mauler twins and it played like a Noob Saibot Smoke type of thing. That'd be fire. So I think they could definitely cook with the concept. But when I look at this, something that worries me is the gameplay. And I'm not the biggest fan of Injustice. I know there's a lot of people who love it. There's a lot of people who's waiting for Injustice 3. But me personally, I'm not the fan of like the Injustice style gameplay. That's what it looks like with how like floaty and like clunky. Like I hope that the game looks better over time because it looks like an Injustice Invincible game and I'm not with that. I'm not with that. I don't see Injustice at all. You don't? You know why I'm saying it's like Injustice? It's because if you look at the way that they're fighting, they're floating like the Injustice characters. Like they have that. You see the way that they're like obviously they're flying characters, but they're flying like Injustice characters. And that's probably what the comparison that I'm drawing. But I don't know. Other than that, one small concern. I don't want to make that seem like a super big deal. That's just one thing that like I like noticed about this is like the flying part of it. But other than that, it looks really cool. Like, obviously there's blood everywhere, so that's like something that's cool, right? The violence. But I also like the concept They can also add to this in terms of like new seasons, right? You talk about Dark Blood, you talk about, I won't do any spoilers. They have a lot of potential. A lot of people love Invincible. This show is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and this could definitely shake up the landscape. We were talking about how there is no new fighting games coming out. What I mean by that is like you only have repeat franchises, right? You only had Virtual Fighter, Fatal Fury. You did have that Bleach game and some of these other smaller things, but you didn't really have like any true, this is the new fighting game. This is like a totally own thing, and it's going to compete with the big dogs. And then while we were, having that conversation, boom, then we just have like multiple heavy hitting new fighting games come out of nowhere.
VTEC King has donated $5 and says competition brings the best out of everyone.
I am excited to try these, and I hope they're fun, and I hope they stick around. But if they do that, it will be a very scary thing for Tekken. So Tekken has to step it up. But also I said this before, and people got really upset at me. I said that these games has the potential to compete with Tekken, and people were like, no. These anime 2D fighting games can't compete with a 3D fighting game. And I think those people are looking at it from the perspective of someone who likes only 3D fighting games. All of these fighting games are trying to bring in new players, and those new players don't know which game they like yet. So if they have to pick between a Marvel game, a Invincible game, or a 3D game that is getting review bombed, what do you think they're going to choose? I'm not talking about the diehard player who's been playing Tekken for 15 years switching. I'm talking about the new players not showing up at all. So we talked about these four and how excited we are for them. But there was a leak that is seeming to be very, very likely. And I'll just read it from this tweet that says, just know the leak saying Street Fighter 6 Season 3 also mentioned Tokon and also Marvel vs. Capcom 4. The last we heard of Rip is that he was being removed from commentary for Tekken. But now the next thing that we hear from him is that he's the combat designer on Invincible Versus. Now that I'm watching actual gameplay, it doesn't look like Injustice anymore. The trailer didn't show like all of the intricate mechanics that they have, like the jumping, the dashing and whatnot. So it doesn't look like Injustice anymore.
Nowadays, you don't have the opportunity to create something completely new, right? Most of these fighting games that exist, they're very high in the iterative number of whatever their series is. And if you deviate from that too much, the fan base kind of revolts against you. They're like, dude, that's not my same game that I'm growing up liking. But in this opportunity we have, we can do whatever we want.
That's an important point of what he said there. When you're dealing with a franchise, that franchise deviates from its legacy, the players feel betrayed. But when you're starting off with a brand new title, you can do whatever. And it's exactly what I was talking about when I was highlighting, the opportunity that Marvel Tokon has to XKO this game. Tekken obviously doesn't want to be Tekken anymore, but they can't just do that. He really threw shade at Tekken? Yeah. He kind of did. The Killer Instinct developers are also, I don't know if they're all Killer Instinct developers, but I know that Killer Instinct definitely has a role in this as well, right? So depending on how much you love that may determine how much you love this.
It pays homage to an era that we came from, like the arcade era, but it's really a statement that says like, we're here and we're up for the challenge. We got next.
In the arcades, when you're playing and if someone comes up and slap their quarter down, I got next. Ooh, wee. They said, I got next, little homie. Hey, Tekken, I got next.
YouTube channel has donated $19.99 and says the message has been clear from other fighting game devs, dissing Tekken low-key by giving the fans what T8 devs won't give them.
Pretty much responsible for approaching fighting games with a different perspective, with something that wanted to give agency to players that were on defense and offense, to have you have a level of mind games beyond just what's going on in that one specific moment. They want you to think of what happened.
They're all taking shots at Tekken. This is crazy, bro. We are seeing multiple different games take shots at Tekken. How do you guys feel about that? Okay, you're not interested, right? Some of you guys are saying, nah, I'm not feeling this. This pass, not Tekken enough, right? But how do you guys feel about Virtual Fighter and this game and Marvel Tokon. Did 2XKO trash on Tekken? So far, those three all has taken shots at Tekken and how the gameplay is terrible. Hey, Maximilian is not invited to Harada's birthday. Harada ripped up his invitation. When you look forward into the future of fighting games, what are you excited about?
VTEC King has donated $20 and says the competition for Tekken